Alright, I took a break for the hot part of the day and decided to come back, and I have finished up 2 of the tong blanks and we're going to start on the third, and hopefully I can knock out the third fairly quick, figure out which 2 of the 3 tong blanks that I want to use, and go ahead and get those assembled as soon as possible. However, the sun is coming out a lot more right now than it was earlier, so hopefully it's not too incredibly warm. It's pretty warm right now, but we'll go from there. Hopefully the GoPro won't overheat again. So let's fire up the forge and start working on this third tong blank. Alright, we'll see you when it's hot. Alright, so while that's heating up, I'm just going to explain again real quick what I'm going to do. I went ahead and marked out all of my points. So I'm going to start by drawing out my reins. So I'll start by heating up this end, tapering it down into a rein shape, and we'll go from there. Also, I did change a little something up on how I'm setting up my forge. I have this plate right here that is underneath the forge, and that allows me to stack up my fire bricks to keep the opening closed and keep some of the heat in. It also lets me put this support fire brick right here, so now my stock that I'm heating up is in line with the forge, so I don't have to sit there and hold it the whole time. And I've also turned the forge a little bit so the hot air is going behind me instead of right at me. That is probably a smart thing to do, considering the fact that this is Alabama and it does get a little warm here. Cool. Alright, well, I got nothing left to say to you. All I have to do now is sit here and wait for the forge to get hot. I lied, I do have something to say to you. Whenever you are punching something, make sure your punch doesn't slip and hit your anvil. If you do, it's really good to punch over top of a mild steel plate. Otherwise, you get tiny little dents in your anvil from the punch slipping. So while the forge heats up, I'm going to come in with an angle grinder and try to smooth that out a little bit. So here we go. Alright, so I don't know if you can tell. In fact, you probably won't be able to because it just stopped. But I sat down and it started raining. Hopefully that holds off. It's kind of a little bit of rain right now. So hopefully that doesn't stick around. I'm going to go ahead and swap over from my cutting disc to a grinding disc. This is also a good job for a flapper disc. Get a much better surface finish, but I'm going to start with the grinding disc, and if I need to go more than that, I will. And we'll start grinding. Correction, now that I have safety glasses, we can start grinding. So that should, no more holes, a couple of surface scratches that should just kind of work their way out as you use it. Depending on how it looks, I may get a flap disc and clean it up a little bit more, but that should be good enough for me to start forging. Just in time for it to be hot. How convenient. Again, we're forging down the reins at this point. That's gonna need tongs. It's hot. So I think the reason why the GoPro overheated in the last video was because I had it plugged in charging the whole time, and I think that causes the battery to get hot. So what I'm doing is I'm going to try to keep an eye on the battery, and whenever it gets low, then I'll plug it in. When it's charged, I'll unplug it. Since I don't have extra batteries, I can't just swap them out, but I think this will work. We'll find out. I don't know how to use tongs. Why am I making them? Catching my hand on fire. Alright. Get back into the fire. Man, I'm showing Seriously. So my lovely wife just informed me that it's probably going to rain pretty hard in about 20 minutes or so. So we're going to try to forge this out as far as we can between now and then. It's going to be a struggle since I am not so great with these, apparently. But we'll see how far we can get. Drop my support brick. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since I'm struggling so much with these tongs, is I'm going to forge this end down that I'm not using to look like that. And I can hold on to it while I forge the rest of the tongs. This is getting kind of crazy. So set that there. And see, I can drive this at an angle. Not going to be pretty, but I'm just going to hit it hard and try to get it down to what I need and go from there. Alright, so the GoPro overheated and shut off, so I had to take it upstairs and put it in the refrigerator to cool it down. I was able to get a handle forged out that I can hold this with, and it is starting to rain a little bit, so hopefully I can get more done before it's a full deluge. I just don't want to have hot and water in the same place. So it is raining right now, but not very bad. So let's do a little bit more. Oh, and the GoPro case broke too, so it is being held together by a piece of shoelace, is what it looks like. So I may have to just go ahead and order a wraparound case instead of like an enclosure. I think that's part of the reason why it's getting hot. Also, I think it's because of direct sunlight on the GoPro, because it's actually like right here in relationship to the forge is actually just ambient temperature. So I think the sun is what's doing it. So I'm gonna figure out a way to shade it while I forge, just to keep the sun off of it so that it doesn't overheat as bad. I did unplug it, it still got hot. Right now it's just running off the battery, so figuring it all out as I go. By the way, I am very much open to constructive criticism. If you see that I'm struggling with something and you're like, hey, if you do this, it'll work better, or you see I'm doing something wrong, or anything, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. I just ask that you do so constructively, because I am learning. I am not an expert at any of this, but I do want to know how I can improve on what I'm doing. So any sort of input and suggestions are very much welcome. Especially anybody who has a blacksmithing channel on YouTube. What do you use for your video capture stuff? Right now I don't have a whole lot of money to commit to this. This is just kind of something I'm doing for fun, but I would like to be able to film with decent video, decent audio, and without something overheating on me, so I can get continuous footage. So again, I'm still learning the whole videography aspect of this, but any inputs and suggestions on that level, whether or not you have a blacksmithing channel, but if you just know what I could do that is fairly affordable and easy is key. Also still learning hammer control too, so there will be mishits and all that fun stuff that you get to watch and laugh at. I don't mind, because I'm laughing too. Oh man, that breeze feels amazing. Oh, it's so nice. That means it's gonna storm. Neat. I'm going to go ahead and in the next heat try to set that down so that I don't lose where that's supposed to be at the beginning of the reins. That way, as I'm forging away, I don't run it over and forget about it. Yay for pass through. So with this forge, you can pass longer things through. So the working area is like approximately 4 inches by 4 inches high by 4.5 wide by 9 inches long is the interior dimensions of the forge. It's a little less than that because the refractory blanket and cement kind of bow in a little bit, so you're kind of limited by that, but it's not much. You can still work with pretty good size stock, and because it's pass through and you can only work so much while it's hot, it really doesn't, you don't need to heat up the whole thing. The only thing that that would give you trouble with is if you wanted to temper something with a forge, so something big, but you can't fit some square stock in there, and you can do pass through, and it'll try to heat, or it'll heat it up a little bit more evenly that way. But yeah, if you want to heat up a big area, even with a really large forge, if you're forging out a sword that's like that, unless you have a massive forge, charcoal or coal or gas, I mean, you still have to pass it through to heat it up even. That was stunning. If I can get these reins done before it rains, that would be great. I didn't plan that, by the way. It just happened naturally. There it is. Okay, I got that started, that way I know where to stop forging out the reins. So I just have from here to here to get down to the thickness of the reins. Alright, next I need to focus on cleaning up my squishness. It's actually a technical blacksmithing term, squishness. It's in books and stuff, I'm sure. So that could get a little thinner. That's fine. I want to get the big part done, then I'll fine-tune it. Good thickness wise from right here to right here, but it's too fat, so at least at the base I'll have to kind of ease into it. Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and bring all the rest of the thickness down and then make it as smooth as I want. Look at that, I'm learning already. It's called the boss, not the place where the rivet goes. And these are bolt tongs, not box jaw, which I called them like, I don't know, too many times. There you go. Tongue ring. longer, I think, I feel, than this one. Not too bad. We can cut it. I'm going to round all this off anyway, so I'll cut it after I round it and match them to each other, and we'll be good to go. Well, with that, it looks like my forging is done due to the oncoming rain. Was really hoping to knock this out before it came, and I'm really close. I just need to do the bit area or the shank area. Yep, that's where we are. All right, well, catch you later.